Welcome to the Tom Castro Shooting Academy podcast. You have now entered the next level. Bill Tuffa.
I used to volunteer, but now I'm a sponsored shooter, and I'm shooting a ton of majors, and There's no way. And I do it. I mean, like recently I took time off from work, but otherwise I'm working a full work week, and then I'm swinging in and I'm shooting a match. In order to work one, I have to take time off work. And there's no way it is going to equate to what I'm going to make at work by taking a day off. So I can shoot more and make more money if I don't work the match.
You get free lunch, Christine. You get free lunch.
Right.
So, I mean, listen, you just thank you for proving my point. This is exactly what's going on for everyone. We all have the same thing. We all have jobs. We all have to go to work. We all have to make money. We all make more money working than we do coming to volunteer for this sport. But if you don't volunteer, what do you got? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's my thing is if this becomes a financial thing, it's over. If people look at this as I make more money at work than I do here, it's over. This sport's not going to make it. I'm telling you.
I participate.
What's participation if you don't have an RO? If you don't, it's not going to be a sport anymore. Everybody just go out there and shoot for fun, which is fine too, but you're not going to have a competition. You're not going to have somebody to score the targets. You're not going to have people to paste. I'm telling you, this sport is going the wrong direction for volunteers right now.
Everybody is making money. Like, I don't know, like I know some matches make tons of money. Like maybe they could just.
So they don't. So there's a big misconception of how much money that these matches make.
Some.
What's that?
I feel like some do, like more, like the higher charging ones.
All right, so let me ask you a question. I mean, this is a great segue into IPSC versus USPSA, where I feel USPSA fails the majority of the time. Really, my only, I don't want to even say complaint, just my like outside looking in, like, oh man, we could do so much better. The award ceremony sucks. Like, in my opinion, the award ceremony sucks for USPSA. We do not honor people's hard work. We do not value the shooter like we should. We do not value the vendor like we should. We just need more engagement between the shooter and the vendor, right? And the shooter, well, all the shooters. Like, if you're a first, second, and third, everybody should be up there getting their picture taken together, right? You get like the podium in Puerto Rico is exactly what I want to bring to a match.
Oh gosh, I love it. But you got to take these people to a different country and put them on a freaking island to stay for the party. And these are people that do this for a living and they leave. And I'm like, not in Puerto Rico because they're stuck on a freaking island and it's pretty and it's nice and they party and everybody surrounding the shoot off and cheering. It was so much fun. I will be back next year. It is so much fun.
They do a great job. They make the paella. They do it. It's awesome.
People leaving when they win and they're like one of like the top 1% of shooters and they won't stay the extra day. You know how many times I've seen Max Michel win a national championship and freaking not take a freaking trophy? What is up with that? Like,
all right, so let me explain. I'll give you an easy answer because now I'm in that world. I'm not a professional shooter. I still work. I don't get to, I'm not paid by a company. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I'm self-sponsored. So a good example, I talked about going to Aruba with Padawan, going to the match. If I go to Aruba or Panama or any of those matches and I shoot PCC, I have to leave after the match and go home, drop off my shit, jump on another plane, and be the very next day I have to be in Chicago for a class. Then like Aruba, I have to be in another place right after that because I have another class. This is how we make our money. That's the only way that I can explain it. They have no choice. They can't just hang out. The reason why is because we don't get support. The guys that are at the top of this sport that are trying to be the top or that promote the sport the most, we get zero support. We support ourselves. We support each other. Like I just had a Tim Herron for a class. I support him to get more classes. right? I brought my own student to his class. Okay. I brought a guy that I'm coaching, doing private lessons with. I took some of possibly my financials away from me so I could send him to Tim Herron and help Tim Herron fill out another spot in his class. But this is why they have to leave, because there is zero, we don't win shit. Hell, you're lucky to even win a trophy half the time.
Right.
This is the problem. It's this, we're not treated. I mean, we're not treated well.
Right. That's a difference between IPSC and USPS. And IPSC, you're actually, when I witnessed over in Czech, is you're treated more of an athlete. It's more of a sport, and you're treated like more of an athlete over there.
Bro. So let's talk a little bit about how I was treated. All right. Because this is what I won right here. These two things right here. I spent almost 1,000 rounds shooting at this match. Let's see. I was there for almost 4 days, maybe 5 days. This is what I got to be treated like an athlete. Listen, I'm not complaining, guys, but I want people to understand that I spend a shit ton of money, and this is what I got. I won high overall PCC, and this is what I got. I'm not mad. I really like these. These are awesome. These are better than some of the trophies that I have won. Shit, I won Area 6 last year, and I was like, that looks like the same trophy I got B class in. You know, I mean, first place at Area 6, and I got the same looking trophy that I got when I took second place as a B class shooter, or whatever, first place with PCC, whatever the hell it is. People don't realize, like, dude, we don't put money into this sport. We are dependent on the shooters for this sport, and that's the issue. Football players don't pay to play football. They don't. We're depending to run our sport off of shooters' money. Then we depend on the shooters to also do all the work. But now we're getting to the point in this sport where the ROs we're running out of them. It takes a shit ton of people to do a staff reset. I know I'm running a match with staff reset. You know, the crazy part is I don't even stress about it because I'm not the one actually doing it. But he's got 65 to 75 people. That is just the RO staff. That's almost half of the match. That's just staff. That's food. That's water. That's hotels. You name it. That's an expense. Free match. That means every single person that's an RO doesn't pay $150 entry fee. That doesn't include pasters, targets, walls that get shot to shit, barrels, you name it, paint. None of that's in that cost.
There's a lot of factors. There's a lot of factors too. And one of my biggest things is I wish they had something at the end, like at Area 6, even if you don't have an award ceremony because they want to do personalized plaques, I think that's great. How about have a tent and everybody just, hang out and socialize or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I mean, okay, some of the top level shooters leave, whatever, but there's a whole ton of other people that.
Would you pay for it?
Yes.
What would you pay?
I'm not going to pay $100.
What would you pay?
I don't know. What do I get? Depends on what I get,
Well, see, so here's the problem. It's always about what do I get?
It's about what I pay. I mean, it comes down to money.
Okay. This is the problem in our sport. It's if you want that party, okay, and that's the experience you want to pay for, you got to pay for it.
Sure. No problem. All right.
Yeah, but you say that. Listen. What's that, Christina?
Match fee is the smallest match. Let's have a good one. I want a good match.
Yeah, if I got to pay another $20-$30,
more.
What do you think $20 or $30 gets you? Okay, so listen, I guess the IPSC versus USPSA is going.
No, I know where you're going, but I'm not saying you're going to get a meal out of it. I'm saying like a place to socialize and chill out and hang out, and
let's just say I go to Longhorn. This is a great example. I go to Longhorn. I buy a steak for $30, right? I pay $20. I get a whole meal, drink, everything. I didn't pay for a place to stay. I didn't have to rent a house or rent a building to put there. They already had it. They already have their cooks that get paid hourly. I didn't have to bring in food. The food was already there, right? I literally walked in and got food. I didn't have to worry about drinks. I didn't have to worry about turning the lights on. There's so many things that people don't understand that go into putting on one of these matches when it comes to the party, right? Sure. The vendors, Okay. I'm dealing directly in South Carolina with the vendors. It's been a great experience. I have met a lot of great people, but I've also not gotten all the feedback that I wanted. I didn't get every sponsor that I've talked to, right? I just haven't. I've tried. I can email them, but listen, it's the money's thin, bro. Like everybody's money is thin. So now you're going to tell me that you want okay, I'll give you a good example. The last podcast I did was about South Carolina, or 2 podcasts ago were about South Carolina. I asked every single person to please, if you listen to this podcast, leave me a comment or something telling me you want a party or you don't want a party. Because my idea would be to do a party on Saturday night. That way, nobody misses the party. Now, you don't get the awards. You don't get the award ceremony. You'll still get all that stuff. It just wouldn't happen on the typical Sunday. But when is everybody at the match? You have everybody that's at the match that shoots the match on Saturday. They either can go home or stay. Most people stay if they travel. They stay in the hotel and they leave the next day. So those people would stay. Plus, you have everybody who walks stages on Saturday that's going to shoot the Sunday. Now you have all of those people. That's where you can again, it's about having bodies at the match. You're not going to have a party for 20 people, dude. It's just not going to happen. So even though you're willing to pay, there's a lot, every single person like you guys, there's another person on the backside that says, I don't give a shit. I just want to go home.
No problem. Yeah.
So how do you win? But how do you win as a match director? It's almost,
you don't,
impossible.
I mean, even if you had to me, how much does it cost to have an area go, hey, you guys want to hang out, socialize? You can hang out right here. That's all cool. That would be, I would do it.
What do you think it costs to feed people? Like, honestly, like, what do you
don't
think
need to feed me, just a place to hang out. We'll drink and, and chill out.
But you could do that. But okay. All right. Go ahead, Christina.
Oh, I was going to say, you're not going to do that the day before you shoot. If you shoot.
No.
So here's one of the issues that I discovered. Okay. Now this happened to me last year at South Carolina. I was not part of the match. I didn't run the match. I didn't have anything to do with the match. I was friends with Todd, the gentleman, Todd Holmes, that runs the match and runs the club, USPSA club there. So I came in the day before, right? I stayed with my buddy Sam picked me up. We stayed the day before. And so I was with Sam. We shot the match, staff reset, everything's good to go. So I'm like, all right, cool, man. Like, I'm going to get out of here. And then I realized all the staff left. There were still 10 stages that needed to be torn down. So I stayed and I helped tear it down. I didn't make a dime. I didn't get paid. Nothing. Didn't get food. Didn't get a dinner paid for. Nothing. Didn't ask for it. Didn't care. No, he didn't need to pay for it because I did it. It did it for me, right? I did it for him. I did it because I don't want to be that guy. I know what it's like to be stuck doing shit like that. Say it again.
I don't understand. Like, you pay staff to come. Like, I mean, I've worked matches, and yes, you literally wait that arbitration, then you tear the stages down, and then you do the staff stuff.
I agree, but not everybody stuck around.
Yeah, but I don't need
listen. Well,
that's ridiculous.
Telling you this is what's going on. This is what happens, but it's not even that the people were jerks. They just didn't think about it. They just okay, I'll give you an example. They would take their stage down. They would take their stage down and put it at the end of the stage. It still has to be put away. There's still hours and hours and hours of more work that has to be done after that. It's not just take the shit down and throw it at the end of the bay. It still has to go from there and be put away in a Connex, be put into the competition. Like, people don't understand just moving steel alone, the amount of work and labor it is to move 6 giant poppers per stage, there's so many things that people just discount as in no big deal because they don't actually put their hands on it. They don't, like, all the nails that hold shit in, they have no idea how much hammering that is. They just don't. And it's not, and again, this isn't a complaint. This is just, we've gotten to a point now where I'm noticing in our sport where we're getting effing lazy, baby. Like, we're getting lazy. Like, I'm watching our sport, like, just dwindle down with the help. And like, so for me, I don't volunteer at major matches for 2 reasons. One, because of the bullshit that happens with the people that run some of the major matches that I go to. That's one. Number two is I volunteer locally. I keep my local club running. I bust my ass at my local club to put on the good matches, as many matches as I can. That's where my volunteer is, to give back to the sport. Because at the end of the day, the local match, in my opinion, is what our sport is. There's not very many major matches versus our local matches. We get 10 times more local matches here in Florida than we do majors. But at the end of the day, you have to look at this sport in volunteerism, right? We're running out of volunteers, because the volunteers that have been doing this for a long time are burnt. They're done. They're burned out. And Christina, you said something earlier that I think is amazing. The mentorship. We have no mentorship. That's something that I'm trying to now do in my club. I'm trying to bring more people in to mentor. Right. But listen, it's hard. It's hard to mentor people. And the reason why is you have ranges to deal with, right? I don't know in the range. Now I have to completely hey, I want to bring this guy in. What do you know? They don't know him. You know what I mean? It's like, there's a lot of logistics that go into it. Like buying targets. Are most people willing to spend $800 of their own money to buy targets? I don't know many people will. I did. I bought $800 worth of targets and pacers the other day out of my own money to get paid back when they sell, right? Because you can't wait until you sell them all or use them all and make the money off the match, because you got to have them before you need them. So, I mean, most people don't understand. I spent 4 boxes of targets and 20, I guess it was 250 rolls is what I ended up buying of pacers, was $800 something to the door. That's a shit ton of money to run matches. We go through.
Well, how much match or how match?
Say it again.
How much money do you collect in a single match?
$20 a shooter usually. We don't charge more than that. We try to keep it really low.
Covered right then.
What's that?
Is that not your $800?
Yeah, but you have to understand there's still a cost to all that. I still have to cover that cost, right?
Yeah.
So I don't get that until the match. I can't go, hey guys, give me the money, and then I'm going to go buy the stuff. Right. It's just there's a cost to everything. And that, like, the party is a good example. You want a party? I agree. I want the party. I want the award ceremony. I want to say thank you to everyone, the staff, the shooters, everyone. But doing this match, I'm realizing there's not a lot of people that give a shit about that.
Yeah.
And I think that our sport's changing, because it used to be a big deal.
Yeah,
it used to be a big deal.
That's probably one of the best parts of the sport. You know?
I don't have a family or anything, so of course I want a party. Y'all are my family. So this is what I do everywhere I go. When I, as a person, know no one or anybody, I go to the range and I get to hang out with people there. So
I don't know if I honestly don't know if that's, and even in most people's consideration, most people that take the day off to go to the range or whatever it is, they go to the range and they do the thing. But when it's like, I'm going to tell you, staff reset in itself, if you do a half day format like we are in South Carolina, it does not promote hang out at the range.
Right. True. Yep.
At all.
Come in and you can go.
Right. So
I got to get going, dude. I'm going to go to bed.
So the more that we separate, hold on. Don't you dare leave. The more we separate the family atmosphere is the more this sport's going to separate when it comes to, because you're now separating yourself from the work of the match. Does that make sense? Like what it takes to put on a match, I don't know how to say it, respect it less. You don't value the work that it takes to put on a match as much anymore, because now you're just having somebody else do all the pasting. Right. I don't know. Maybe that's just my mindset.
I don't know. I learned all that stuff participating up north at Pioneer, where they did Area 7. They did Live Free or Die, a very big up to do IDPA match where they're like designing it for over a week and painting things, and it's a huge effort. And every time we had a major match, I mean, the last day you're there till it's dark outside. I mean, everybody's there late, everybody's exhausted. It's just, It's the love of the game. You do it, and
Yeah.
it's your. Down here, South Florida, I don't have a club. I don't have a club that I get to participate in like that
There is
at
no
all.
club down here.
There's none, and
Well,
so
That's
I
that
would
team.
be working more matches if I had a club that did them. I mean,
Again, it sets the culture setup, man. You set it up at the beginning and then it just rides from there. If that isn't set up correctly, that's where but again, dude, like you just only have a handful of people that bust their ass and then everybody else just kind of rides on in. That's what I've been seeing. It's getting worse. I actually have been very fortunate. Craig, I'll let you go, bro. I know you got to go. So I'll finish this with Christina.
I'll see you guys.
Yeah, you jerk. This is podcast number 2. Goodbye.
Craig.
Love you, bro. So I had this recently. My schedule's been so crazy that I actually ended up talking to my everybody that comes to my club and have this conversation. Actually, it worked out really well where everyone was like, hey man, if you really need help, let me know. So they don't want to lose the match. And I told him, I said, I won't be here. My buddy John is not going to be there. My other buddy Jim, who usually helps, ended up having he bought a new house. So he's got a bunch of construction work. So it's like everybody that was like the mainstays has had to drop off. So I'm going to actually set it up this week to where the next month's match, somebody else is going to run it for me. And so it's going to take care of it for me. So I'm pretty fortunate that I have that. But again, I had to ask, right? If I didn't ask, nobody jumped in. And I think that's probably, I don't know, maybe that's some of my downfall. I should stop asking to help. Maybe that's why I get in trouble so much. So I don't know, but it's just, I don't know how we got into Craig, and that stupid RO question just totally made the podcast go a different direction. So
Hello, tangent. Yep, it happened.
Well, I mean, listen, I've been wanting to do a podcast about this anyway. There's just been really weighing heavily on my mind. And there's just been a lot of complaining about USPSA lately, about the president of USPSA. And I don't know.
When it comes down to it, and you asked me, or you said the question about the officiating, USPSA is better. It's better. We are not that out of whack. Like when you national and even worlds, I know several people that went to worlds. It's not freaking 100% up and up. Like it wasn't 100% great calls, 100% ROing, or like no. And that was worlds. That's IPSC.
Yeah.
Okay. USPSA, it's not going to be perfect, and we are not that far off from like. I mean, we are not that bad. It's not that bad. Like, chill out. Like, people dog so hard on it, but I don't think it's that bad.
I think the biggest thing is it's a sport we love, but we shit on it constantly. Like, I don't get it. Like or I shouldn't say we, because I don't, but people just really shit on it a lot. And I don't understand, like, it's not perfect, but I wouldn't want those jobs. Like, I would not want Yemen's job. I would not want Jake's job, Troy's job, Donna's job. Hell to the no. I'm good. Like, I don't
get it. Like, but you don't get paid, and it's like you need to do this, and it's an unpaid position. It's like,
well, everyone I mentioned gets paid and gets, other than Yemen, they all get paid pretty well. So Yemen's the only one that didn't get paid well, but the previous president got paid pretty well. But again, I don't know his job. I don't know what he does. I've had many conversations with him. I've been fortunate enough to call him a friend. If he screws up, I would absolutely tell him he screws up. But some of the heat that these people are getting, it's just, I get it. I would be upset too if they banned me. I totally get it. It's they've tried. So I've been there. I felt it. I know what it's like. It's there's a lot of bullshit, but it's still an amazing sport. The game's awesome. The majority of the people you will meet in this sport are amazing.
Agreed.
There's not a lot of problems Okay. I just think the problems that we see on a regular basis are something that it's easy to talk about out loud. And you just keep banging on the same drum over and over and over and over again. And it just, I don't know. I get it, man. There's some financial stuff that if that's true, that kind of, that's kind of sucks. Like we're in trouble if we have that stuff, but I don't know. I just don't pay attention to it enough, I guess, to be educated enough in that argument.
Also,
Same. Yeah. I just, you know what? I don't fill my life with negativity. So it's like, I'm good. Like that's all it is negativity to me. So I try to just eliminate it and not deal with it. But I don't know. I have a lot of ideas on things that could be better. I share them. No one ever calls me.
Your brain does not. Your brain continually goes.
Yeah.
You're always brainstorming. It's great. Yeah. I'm glad your brain is in this sport.
I mean, no one ever calls me and asks me what I think, which is, I get it. It's not, they're probably like, oh, Jesus Christ, this guy, but I get it. Like, but there's a lot of guys out there that aren't me that have a lot of amazing ideas. I don't see why you wouldn't talk to a lot more people. There's a lot of people in our sport that have run very, very successful businesses, that are very open-minded. I think one of the things I pride myself on is being open-minded, not having this is the way. Just being super open-minded and just thinking out loud, I guess is kind of my specialty. But I just, I just don't understand why we can't fix a lot of this stuff. Some of this stuff just seems so easy to fix, or even add to. And I'll add to the last thing about the RO thing. Cause again, stupid Craig got me on this thing. I went to I got a phone call from a buddy who's an RO here in, he comes back and forth from Florida and then goes up north. So he messaged me and goes, hey man, I got a RO class that I want to do. And I was like, all right, cool. Like, when is it? So on and so forth. He gives me the date, sends me the text and everything to help talk about it. They charge people. I think it was 50, 60, $80, something like that. I don't know. And you had to have like 17 or 20 people to do it. Why? That like you want to make this a legitimate sport. Well, I don't know. Maybe they don't. Maybe we don't as a group. I don't know. But why are we charging people to become officials? I don't understand why we would not want to promote the shit out of that. I don't. That really like got me.
For it would go to that class and then never take their test.
Say it again.
How many people, if they didn't pay for it, would go to that class and then never take their tests?
All right, so here, okay,
or something.
There's an easy answer. Make them pay a deposit. When they get done, they get their money back. When they take the test, they get their money back.
Sure.
Or even better, you want to force participation when it comes to ROing. They have to work a certain amount of local level level 1 matches, and it's recorded. So you want your money back, you have to work a local match once a month or twice a month or whatever, one time, 2-3 times a year, whatever it is, just to keep that thing so you can get your money back. I mean, again, these are just ideas. These are just ideas.
Yeah. Clubs that need ROs are like, hey, we're going to pay for you to go. Like, there's a class over there yonder and we'll cover your class fee, like at least. So
so the problem with that is there's most of these clubs are for profit. Right? Like most of the ranges want money, like period. They don't want to they're not there for charity. Right. So like they want their money back. So when they run a match, they want the money back for that. There's a cost to run a USPSA match at the range. It's not just, hey, use our property. Right. So this is stuff that people don't understand, the cost of things. And when it comes to that, just that alone, like you have to pay the range to borrow their stuff. Right. Then you got to pay the range sometimes to rent a place to store your shit. USPSA covers a lot of material. You got to have a lot of material to run a USPSA match. 5-6 stages. That's a shit ton. That's 40, 50, 60 walls. You put 4 pieces of steel out per stage. There we go. $1,000 in steel. People don't listen. This stuff isn't free, man. Targets are $1 a piece right now. $1. Pacers, $5.50, I think is what they are, or $5.50 or $6.50 for a roll of 5. You get 5 rolls. You know what that covers? I use 3 rolls per stage for a match. Bing, 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 bing. It's just, and people throw the shit on the ground. They don't care because they're not directly paying for it. I'm trying not to be like that right now, but this is the stuff that, you know, people don't realize. Like when you said earlier about the match making money, I'm like, you don't realize how much money that's not there. It sounds awesome. It sure does.
But for a major, some of these.
I don't disagree. I'm sure nationals could make money. I just don't know I don't know what that costs. Like I can guess like really easily, but what is the range fee to rent 30 bays? Like I can tell you right now, as a coach, my average range fee for 1 bay per day is $350 to $400 a day to rent 1 bay. I'm renting 30 as nationals. Do you think they're charging $350? Probably not. You're renting my whole range from me. Not only that, but think about how many days they need it for. If you are shooting Thursday for staff, you're building 20 stages, you needed at least a week before that. It's a lot of extra rental. That shit adds up, man. It really, you're awesome. All right. You want to get off or you want me to pause it?
You can pause it.
All right. That's fine. Yeah. I guess I'll dive into this a little bit. I mean, I guess we've been on here a little while, but I'm a little frustrated with this lack of support from USPSA right now as a board, as an organization. I don't know. Maybe I'll just delete this if I decide not to let it out. But, well, you know, I'm in charge of vendors and working in South Carolina sectional. And, you know, we've been talking a lot about the vendors. We're posting something on a daily basis about our vendors and talk about the match quite a bit. We're about a month out. So we're just providing as much value back to our vendors as we can. And there's another event that's going on at the same time in South Carolina.
Oh, really?
It's not a match though. It's it's kind of like a shot show type of thing, I guess, you know what I mean? But it's an outdoor where they get to try guns and try the equipment and everything. Right. I happened to see a USPSA post and they shared their event. And I'm like, why are you not sharing our event? Why are you not sharing level 2 matches? Why are you not sharing USPSA matches? I don't I'm not saying share my local match, but we have like one of the first major matches of the year and we're not getting a single share from USPSA. I don't understand what the hell is going on. What is the social media of USPSA for if you don't share
major USPSA matches?
God dog it. I'm just saying, I don't get it. I don't understand. I'm completely confused what we're doing as an organization or as a sport if we're not sharing our sport. Like, what the hell are we doing? I don't understand.
Who have you talked to about this?
What's that?
Who have you talked to? Like,
the person who ain't gonna listen to me. He hates my guts. Yeah, doesn't even know me, but he hates my guts. So, been treated like shit from those people for a long time, baby.
Well, we do have a new president. I don't know. I mean, I know he's probably got tons on his plate, but
I just don't see anything changing there. It's been the same status quo for the last 3 years that I've been paying attention. And I don't understand why. So I had a buddy of mine. We were talking a little bit about SHOT Show and everything. And he says, if I was president for the day, or if I had, complete control, organization, king for a day of USPSA, or whatever it is, what would I do? And the number one thing for me, bro, is I'm screaming from the rooftops. I'm on social media like a maniac. I'm going to share posts. I'm going to share instructors. I'm going to share events. I'm going to share matches. I'm going to share, you name it, vendors, people that support us, like you name it, it would be shared. What the hell is social media if you don't get social? It doesn't make sense that why is it that we aren't talking to NRA? Why is the NRA not supporting us? Why are we not having a conversation with the NRA and saying, look, we're a shooting sport. You're a shooting sport. Most of the members that shoot our sport are NRA members that support 2A. Why are we not joining together? They're a giant organization. We are a giant organization, but in a very niche unit, right? Little place. So why not bring them to us and us to them? It doesn't make sense. You want to talk about training money? You want to talk about being better ROs, better staff? There it is. They are the king of training. Unfortunately, the NRA is the king of training. They have taught people that their training is what makes people safe. It isn't. It's just not. People are the ones that make people safe. But you have to, if for me to coach, I had to go get an NRA instructor class. I had to get an NRA instructor class that I never use. I never teach anybody NRA instruction courses, right? I teach USPSA, but to get onto the range, I had to have NRA instructor credentials. Why are we not working with them? I don't understand. Why is it that SHOT Show, we didn't have a single video that I saw that came out of that place with the vendors that support us? Maybe it was out and I just didn't see it. I don't know.
But that, you never know what's being shadow banned and stuff. Right. But I've never seen anything like that, really.
To me, this sport is small because we don't talk about it. Think about it. How did you get in it? Someone else told you about it?
Sure. Yeah.
Same thing. No, I never saw it on video. Never saw it TV, even on YouTube. Like, and again, that was 4 years ago for me. So now things have gotten way more popular, and like with social media has gotten bigger, you can find a lot more shooting content on there, but we don't push anything here. Like the one thing that I've noticed about us is we do not push shooters at all. Like we do not push the best shooters in this sport at all.
I shot this sport for several years before I knew anybody.
Yeah, me too. And I was trying to be one of those guys that I never knew. That was the crazy part. My goal was just to be the best damn shooter. Little did I know who I had to beat. I didn't know about it. I didn't understand. I just wanted to be the best shooter, or be the best shooter I would ever be. We do not promote us at all. Right? Like, I don't know. I have never seen USPSA repost a Tim Herron class comment or a conversation, and I'm like, if you don't like that guy, you must hate everybody, because he's a pretty likable. I could understand someone not liking me, but that guy, I haven't seen any posts. And I get it. They have a program where if you pay them $1,000 or $1,200 or whatever it is for a year, they have a certain amount of posts that they have to do for you.
Oh,
yeah, but why would I have to pay for that when I promote the sport for free every single time I open my mouth? It just doesn't make sense. Every single time I get on video, I talk about this sport. I talk about getting better at the sport. I talk about, I love this sport. So I don't understand, why do I have to pay you to promote the sport? That's the dumbest shit I've ever seen. Right? I mean, I'm literally giving millions of dollars of free advertising every single time I turn the camera on and talk about it. I never come on here and talk about how crappy USPSA is, how crappy the leadership is, because I don't believe it is. I mean, there's some issues, but what sport doesn't have that, right? What sport and organization doesn't have that? Anybody who thinks that any professional organization doesn't have some shit going on in it, you're crazy. It's ran by human beings. We make mistakes. There's shitty assholes out there in the world. Guess what? We get those in this sport also. So you deal with it. Right? Doesn't mean the sport's busted or broken. It has to be completely changed. You just have to make things better, right? You always need to be working for a solution instead of a problem. So that is like the biggest thing that this probably wasn't a great idea to get on here when I was that kind of day. I feel like I'm just going off tonight, and this is probably the most negative I've been in a long time.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't think I'm being negative. I just feel like I'm venting a little bit more than I usually do. I kind of hold a lot of this shit in. So.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. I feel like this is just going to have a big, long beep at the end of this podcast. We can't hear any of this. I don't know. I'd like to see.
First sport.
I don't know. I think we got some, we have some great times ahead, and we also have some rough times ahead. I think I'm telling you, I think this sport's going to have a major changeover very, very soon. We're going to have to either volunteer or it's going to get so expensive. A lot of people are going to they're out.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It's coming. It's coming. Listen, ammo prices haven't gone down that much. Yeah, it's more available, but they're still crappy.
My red
prices.
much down here. I'm like, I'm going to have to adjust something, or I'm going to have to work more. It's crazy.
So this is where the volunteer conversation comes in. This is why I talked about the volunteering, because it doesn't cost a dime to volunteer your time. Oh, damn, I was a poet and didn't know it, but it does cost you, you're not at work. So, I mean, you got to, it depends on what your life is like, right? It's
really okay with shooting a crappy match. It'd be fine. I could probably still work and I could show up. I could shoot a match with no sleep. I could do that.
Yeah.
I could totally do it, but I work night shift, man.
Yeah.
And I'm jet lagged. That's how I live my life. So, I mean, for me to like go to a match and hopefully perform, when I was a C-class shooter, I could really do that. I mean, I'd go perform at a C-class level. Yeah, it was fine. I didn't need sleep to do that. But I want to perform P-class or higher. Guess what? I need sleep.
Well, I'm really excited. I'm excited because you're coming to the match that I'm throwing for this weekend. And
yes, I am so excited for that. Let's see what it's. Your match is full. I'm wondering, is it usually full?
It's pretty close. We do pretty good usually. The problem that I've had lately is a lot of dropouts. Like you'll get like 5, 6, 7 people drop out, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that's a lot of people to drop out of a match when it was already full.
When it's full and you want to and you're on that way, like people want to.
Yeah. But the one thing that I took from the previous, so our match had a match director that ran it for, oh my God, his name's Keith. He ran that thing for like almost 14 years. I think it was something crazy. Like, I was like, I don't know how he did it that long without like losing his mind, but he was pretty tired at the end. Like he was done with it. That's a lot of work. Florida Heat, not a lot of help, stuff like that. He had volunteers for a while. This is why I keep talking about the volunteer thing, because I've seen this happen since I've been in the sport. I pay attention to that stuff a lot. A lot of people don't pay attention until it's too late and it's over. It's like, oh man, the house just burned down. Oh, well, I saw that wire sparking for like the last 3 years and no one fixed it. He used to have a lot of volunteers that helped, and they don't shoot over there anymore. They don't come to the match. A couple of the guys got a lot older. It's changed a lot, in that era. 4 years changes a lot for people. And I don't turn anybody away. That was the one thing that he did that I really liked. Everybody gets in the match. Now, again, if I have 100 shooters, because right now we're around 60, and because I pay attention to things at our match, we start at 8:30 so we can beat the Heat. And almost every single match since I took it over, myself and John, has been done by 12:30. And all of our 5 stages. And we have one stage that's a double bay. So what we do is we have the left stage or the right stage run, then the left stage comes up, runs, and then they score them both together. They score and pace together at the same time. It's very efficient, very fast. And we're on, because that's on one big wide bay. I pay attention to round count. I make sure I don't put a 12 round stage and then a 32 round stage next to each other, because that will jack you up forever.
Right.
Our bay 5 is a little bit farther away than the rest. So like it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are, I guess, 4 bays. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. And that fifth stage that we have has a little bit of a walk. our first bay is our biggest bay. So that little bit of a walk, there's almost never a backup on bay 1. So that's really nice. The only time we ever get kind of a snag is that double bay where we have 2 stages. But again, that usually comes from shooters, not hustling and pasting and, screwing around or whatever. So, again, the shooters can really jack your matchup. Doesn't matter how good you are at staging it. You can, if they don't work, it's like I keep talking about the volunteer thing again. It seems like that might be the name of this damn podcast. And I'll just eliminate all the IPSC stuff we talked about earlier. But I'm excited for you to come to this match because I am going to absolutely go crazy on this match. I am going to put every activator I have. I don't think I'll have a single piece of steel in the Connex. It'll all be out on a bay on stages.
Well, good. That thing I shoot before I come there is all steel because I'm shooting steel punch. So
yeah.
Of course I'm standing and shooting those. I have a feeling I might have to move and shoot at your match. You might run, stand, and shoot a bunch of stuff and just run. But I'm sure that's
I'm gonna make everybody work this match. I'm excited. I will be let's see, let me just double check here. I can tell I'm tired because I'm going a whole bunch. It is, so that's this weekend, the 18th and 19th. I go to California for my first class of the year. Exciting. I go there on Tuesday and I have a bunch of private lessons as well. Then I come, and then the first weekend, I actually will be here for the first weekend. So maybe I could do 2 crazy hard matches in a row. All right. I might be able to do 2 in a row then. All right, cool. I didn't think I was going to be here for that. All right, nice. But I'll be here for, I guess this one and the next one. So this one's going to be really tough though. Cause I feel like making it hard. I want to make it fun. I'm going to put bobbers and swingers and everything else that I can put out there. Lots of steel. So it should be a good match. I'm limited on a couple of my bays for like width. They're real skinny, but I get really creative. I tend to be, I try to get as creative as I can. I try to not do the old standard left, right bull crap that a lot of times you have to on those skinny bays. So they take a lot longer. Unfortunately, they take a lot longer to block things and put things in. But this year actually, or tomorrow or this weekend is when the match is. I actually think I have some help coming. I'm going to message everybody and see if because they offered to help. But sometimes it's hard when you're trying to do like shit like that. Cause I don't plan it out. I just go out there and start putting stuff up. So
manager time.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm actually good at delegating. I'm actually very good at delegating, but you can't delegate like what you don't know. Does that make sense? Like if you don't know what the stage is supposed to look like until you start building it, it's kind of hard to go put it over there. And then you're like, all right, now move it over here 2 inches, move it over. You just don't know until sometimes you got to get the basic layout. And then you're like, all right, hammer it in. Then that's when the help's, nice, but we'll figure it out. I'm running solo this match. I have, her name is Sophia. She's from, I think Philly, maybe Pennsylvania. I don't know. Anyways, but she knows how to run practice score and everything. So she's going to run my scores. She's going to do my score pad for me. So that was cool. So I don't have to do all that also.
Oh, good.
So it's going to be good, man. And I got a lot of new shooters coming. Oh God.
Are they going to
say it again?
Are they going to be with us?
One of them will be. She was at Tim's class. And so when Tim Herron came down and did a class, I participated in that class for anybody who doesn't know. And a lot of the students that were there were new students to USPSA or new to USPSA. So I invited them to come to my match. And I told them I'd get them in no matter what, just so that they can participate and bring them in. My match, the match that I run with John and Jim, we get a lot of new people. It's awesome. I mean, 5, 6, 7 every single week, every time we have a match.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. And it's awesome though. I tell them all, I kind of give them the speech that I never got, right? Like, you're going to suck. Don't worry about it. You're not going to win. I promise. I don't care how good you think you are. You're not going to win. If you've never done this before, it's hard. It's fun. It's amazing. But all I care about is safety. I don't care if you walk. I don't care if you run. That's fine too. But safety first. The most important thing to me is safety. I don't care what your score is. I don't care if you forget targets. And if they shoot with me, I help them. Like, one thing I've learned as a high-end coach or a higher coach is I don't try to teach them how to run stages, right? I let kind of like the other people do that. I just work on safety stuff, right? I don't try to come over and go, hey man, run this and you should be moving and shooting on this. I don't do any of that, right? I don't do any of that at all. It's not even because I don't get paid. It's just because they're not ready for that, right? Like, they're nervous as hell. There's 15 people standing there watching them. It's like, yeah, they're trying to remember to put the gun magazine in the gun, and stuff. And
oh yeah, I mean, they're gonna shoot that thing till it's empty.
Right. So none of that stuff matters. None of that stuff matters to me. It's all about safety, making sure that they're safe, and that's all I care about at that point. And it's good. I really enjoy being a new person club. And the other thing is I always pay attention if they come back. That's very important to me. The club I started at, very bad turnover rate. So very, very, very bad turnover rate. I don't know if that's because of the club or just the type of people that are coming or whatever, but I noticed there's a very bad turnover rate at some of the clubs that I've been to. Where I started, there's a real bad turnover rate. Like, people don't come back. Kind of interesting how that works. The guy who isn't allowed to shoot at a club, they all stay at my club. It's kind of funny how I guess I was the problem after all. So, but it's just, I really enjoy the new shooters. I do. It's one of my favorite things.
I like new shooters too. Well, I like teaching, like, I like at the basic level for shooting. I mean, I like teaching in my profession too. So
right. I could see that
stuff. I enjoy that greatly, and showing love for something. I love shooting. I love competing.
Right.
It's easy to share that love with somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the bad thing is like, I don't know. This happened last match. It was one of the worst matches ever to run. Like, it was just such a pain in the butt, right? It really was. It was just, there was cables broke, targets weren't put back where they were supposed to be when I guess the swinger came loose. Like, the target came loose because they shot the stick or whatever it was, and they put the target on wrong. And I walk up and I'm just like, what? No one called me. No one said, hey man, this is messed up. They shot the cable on the swinger. I walk over and the swinger isn't resetting when I got there. And I'm like, what? I did this. This was perfect. What happened to this? I even made a mark. The cable wouldn't reach the mark anymore. And I was like, nobody said a word. They just did it. And so it's like, to me, that's match integrity stuff, right? Like, that bothers me because now the swinger's different. Now the target's not in the right places. Those are all things that screw up matches, right? Where you have to throw out stages or whatever. So I don't know. I did the best I could to focus on, shooting, because it's hard when every time you turn around, there's a match director conversation, which was a lot that day. And I guess I didn't answer somebody politely. I don't know. I didn't get down on my knees and go, oh, I'm so sorry. But I guess somebody asked me like, oh, you can start anywhere on this stage. And I think my answer exactly, if I remember correctly, was like, yeah, you can start anywhere on this stage. Just like that. And that became a complaint to another range, I guess, that I was snappy.
You are so abrasive.
I guess I don't care anymore. Like, I'm so over the bullshit. Like, that's why I'm like, I don't, like, my buddy just texted me about how tired he is about all the drama in USPSA. I'm like, dude, I don't even know about half of it because I don't care anymore. Like, it just, you get to a point where it's just like, wah, 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 and it just goes out the other ear, and it's just like, you're not actually providing solutions. You're just providing problems. I can find those also, right? Like, it's pretty easy. It's, I don't know. It's just crazy. So this turned into a totally different podcast than it was supposed to.
Happens.
All right, boys and girls, I'm going to stop ranting about USPSA when I'm tired right now, because it's probably not a good thing. So I don't even know if we're going to post this now, because I screwed it all up with my rants.
There's no campfire and stuff.
We did have a nice campfire. We did. We had a really, really nice campfire in Pan American Games. I didn't buy enough wood, not knowing that we were going to be out there for that long. and it was freezing freaking cold. It was so cold that I had to bring Christina a blanket because it was so freaking cold. It was pretty damn cold.
Fine. I'm like, this is my only option to stay warm now. I'm like, I just gotta drink this
Hammering down on that wine.
day, but I'm like, it's so cool.
The only thing you were missing was a brown paper bag, you being a wino. Looking like a damn bum from sitting out there. You're the best looking bum that I've ever had on a video, though. Let me tell you what, you were all dressed to the hilt. Well, thanks to you, I got to try that garlic restaurant.
My favorite thing about New Smyrna.
Anybody gets a chance, is this new, what's that place where is it at?
It's in New Smyrna Beach.
It's called Garlic. It is very, very, very good. Probably one of the best Caesar salads I've ever had. That might go back just for that thing.
Well, it's a super cool restaurant. I mean,
Is.
it's eclectic and unique.
Yeah. It was really cool. It's different. It was definitely different. Like it was really good food though. The server was pretty good. Like that was the first time I've had a server that was actually pretty decent in a while. So it was nice to have that, but what's that?
He put up with us.
Yeah. And your poor dad, he was just like, oh my God, they had to wait on a bunch of people and that was not his thing at all, was it? He was like, I can't believe I'm waiting for these idiots. I could have eaten already.
Oh, we didn't have to wait like at all when we just got here at 4:30, but I'm glad you got here at 3, Dad. Thanks.
That is true. He did get there like super early. Like he was like the first person in line.
I'm like, hey guys, it's fine. I got there at 4:30 on a Saturday and it was fine. He's like, okay, I'll get there at 3. Just like, okay.
He said, I'm going right there from the range, but
yeah.
It's crazy. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. I don't know exactly how much is going to be out there, but hopefully, I don't know. Maybe I'll just let it rip. I'll have to watch this one. This one definitely has to be watched because I don't want to get myself in trouble. So, but I know people that have been banned for less, so I'm going to try to get off that list. But I'm sure I'm still a target somewhere in there. But I just wanted to let you guys know that I really appreciate every single one of you that listens and follows me. I really do. I've been thinking about this quite a bit, and hopefully this doesn't go into a long rant again. But recently, I have picked up a ton of followers. A ton of you guys have been making comments. A lot of you guys are liking my stuff, and I really, really appreciate it. I mean, I really mean that. I've been paying attention to it a lot and it's growing a lot. And I feel like the work's paying off. And I feel like a lot of you guys are starting to see what it's all about with what I train and how I train, things that like my philosophy of training. So it's been really cool. I came out of nowhere. Trying to build this thing up by myself and no thanks to organizations. So we're trying to build it up, make it big, trying to get classes filled up. I have a bunch of classes already scheduled. Guys, I just made a change for some classes. Hold on. I just made some changes for some classes. Now everything's going to be on Practice Score. You can still go to my website, find the dates if you're looking for them there. But from now on, if you go to Practice Score, you go to Tom Castro Shooting Academy, it'll have all of the classes there. So you can sign up directly through there. It's also going to allow me to basically upload all of the names and I'll be able to post the scores from the classes now for you to be able to see them and track your progress from 0 to hero, hopefully. So Christina, you good? You gonna say something?
Okay, yeah. So speaking of classes, we officially have a class on the books in South Florida, Homestead Training Center, April 14th through 15th, now available on Practice Score. Tom's been telling me about the class, so I've been training with Tom, but it's been 1-on-1 or 2-on-1, and he said the class is like a whole next level and that I'm going to get so much out of it. So I'm super excited. I'm excited to share that with other shooters in South Florida and show them what it's all about. So sign up, come shoot with Tom and I.
Yeah. So the thing with a private lesson, I guess I'll dive into that just a little bit. The thing with a private lesson is you don't really get the philosophy of what I do. Right? The things that I teach all build on top of each other. So if we don't get into those things, how do you know what to build onto? Or there's little holes sometimes in that foundation that you might not have because you've never learned it. shooting and moving moving and shooting is one of the biggest things that I teach. If you've never done that with me before, you don't understand why it works for me and how it works for me. So that's something I break into in my class. Another thing, the negative of I don't want to say any time that a private lesson is a negative, because I think it's amazing when you can just get molded by me or another coach, instead of having other people kind of there and interrupting, I guess, or the coach's attention is 100% on you. But the thing with a private lesson is you miss a lot of that. You're only seeing what you're seeing at the moment. So you're never really getting the full, picture of a shooter. You're only seeing, as a coach, what you're seeing in front of you. The other thing about a class that I do that's completely different from at least what I'm seeing is I'm very heavily focused on becoming a better stage / USPSA shooter. I teach people how to break stages down, how to attack stages, where you're going to save the most of your time. I teach you how to be a better shooter when it comes to actual winning matches. I care about winning matches way more than I care about being awesome at standing and shooting. I care about winning matches. And winning matches has to do with shooting stages. So we do that a lot in my class. Don't get me wrong. I touch on a lot of fundamentals, but I teach fundamentals at speed. So it's a little bit different than some classes to where, you're getting hammered down on some of these fundamentals. If you can stand and shoot 2 alpha, a lot of it's just bad decision-making and things like that need to be worked on. And that comes from, I do a lot of that stuff in my class. So, but you don't get that in a private lesson unless you get into it. And sometimes a private lesson, most people have maybe 1 or 2 sessions and that's all they can afford, or that's all they have time for. You're never going to get into it. But a class, you get hit over the head with it, with, so many different things. So it's, just stuff like that. That's the difference really between a private lesson and a class, is you're going to get a full picture of what I do, and versus a private lesson, you're only going to get what you're working on at the time. So that's to me is where I see. I know some people probably go opposite. They probably think a private lesson is more important, but I really think that my class is very important versus a private lesson.
Think it's going to mess with me the weekend before Dragon's Cup?
No, I don't think so. You already have we've worked together for so much now. I think you're going to, what it will do, I'm going to tell you what it's going to do. You're going to be like, oh shit, I know what he's talking about. That's what you're going to do. You'll see. Because the thing is you've been training with me now long enough. We've touched on a lot of things, but things are going to start piecing together at the class, and you're going to go, oh, this makes, okay. I see. I get it. Okay. Oh, that does work with that. Okay. Because everything builds on top of each other. Right. So it's little things like that. But you have a great base. So it's real. I think you'll like the class a lot. I hope so. It's like, oh, it's the greatest restaurant ever. And then you get there and you're like, this sucks. Like, I hope I don't talk myself up too much. So I don't know. I just love coaching, man. I love my class. I took Tim's class and it was a lot of fun. And day 2 was a lot like my class. I'm like, okay, all right. I was like, I like this. This is what it feels like to be in my class. Hopefully. Most people are probably like, this sucks, bro. You just yell too much, or you talk too much, or, just, we want a break. Like, you want a water break? Get out there and shoot.
Small one, but long one. No.
What's that? Say it again.
Long breaks, like short breaks, maybe, but that's it, man. Now let's go. Let's
yeah, I don't do that. We don't take a lot of breaks so the way I do it is I let the students decide whether they want to break. Right. And so what I mean by that is I tell everybody, I said, listen, you'd have to run me over with a car to get me off this range. So if you guys want to keep shooting, let's keep going. I don't quit. It's like, I feel like I don't want to tap out, put me in the arm bar. I'm not tapping, kind of thing. So it's kind of just the way it is. That's just the way I like to coach. I like to stay busy. I like to keep working all the time. I just keep everything flowing forward as much as possible. And then I tell the shooters at the very beginning of the class, this is your class. How much do you want to shoot? You want to shoot less? That's okay. You want to shoot more? That's okay too. I'm down for both. It doesn't bother me in the least. So if you want to get a couple extra runs on the drills, as long as we're not holding up something else, I'm good with it. I don't mind extra runs,
Right.
So, but yeah, I'm excited. That'd be my first class in Miami. So we'll see. Hopefully that classifier match paid off, I went down to Miami and had a declassifier match just to go hang out with Christina and do a lesson, and went to a classifier match. And a lot of people asked me about classes. So that was pretty cool. I was like, oh man, everybody asked for a class. That was kind of cool. But that doesn't matter until they sign up. A lot of people ask about classes and shit. Don't sign up. So, but it's cool. All right, guys, if you have any questions, if you're looking for a class, check out tcsacoaching.com. But if you have any questions, hit me up in those comments and I'll see you on the range. Christina, say goodbye.
Bye, y'all.
The best.